Okay, so good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. My name is Nechama Kessler, and I am a health, wellness, positivity coach, and I love teaching people about health and wellness and positivity. It's like one of my passions. So I do this class. It's my gift. I don't get paid for it. I just do it because I want to see everybody in the world get healthier and happier and holier, and just be able to be that light, shine their light everywhere they go. I just want to review, I did make 7 YouTubes. For about 5 of them, I did repeat, the things that I like my clients to do on a regular basis. So I'm just going to go over those really, really quickly, like a list. If you have a notebook and pencil, or pen, you might want to write these down. These are the things that we need to really do on a regular basis every single day. And hopefully you are doing a lot of them already, because some of you have been here for quite a while, but some of you have not. I know we have new people coming in, so I'm just going to review those quickly. Hydration, of course, 1 cup for every 20 pounds of weight, and those are not caffeinated drinks. That's either water or herbal teas. We do meditation, even if it's a few minutes a day. We want to work on learning to, use our minds in a very concentrated way, more positivity. We worked on alternate breathing, using the alternate breathing, the yoga breathing. It's called pranayama. That's a good thing to do every day. We talked about mirror affirmations, talking to yourself in the mirror and sending yourself a lot of love and positivity. We talked about increasing your green leafy vegetables. We spoke about that, and hopefully organic. We spoke about Brad Yates and EFT tapping. Brad Yates, Y-A-T-E-S. Wonderful tapping for emotional freedom. EFT is emotional freedom technique, and it's wonderful for changing the emotional state inside if you're feeling sad, depressed, lonely, self-pity, anger, whatever, all kinds of emotions, and all kinds of physical things too. We spoke, of course, of supplements, and we're going to expand on that a bit today. We spoke, of course, of exercise, a gratitude journal, so that's the positivity part, at least 5 to 10 gratitudes a day. I do 10, but you can do as many as you can. That's a good idea. Chewing at least 25 times each mouthful of food. That's a great way to eat your food. We spoke about enzymes. We spoke about probiotics, okay? We spoke about having goals, having our daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals. We spoke about increasing humor in our lives, and you can do that pretty easily today, either watching a funny YouTube, collecting jokes. I go on the internet sometimes and I just, look for jokes, and write down the ones that I find really funny. We spoke about laugh yoga, of course, another way to increase our positivity. And yoga is, of course, one of my loves. One of the biggest loves of my life is yoga. Okay, and so these are like the fundamentals, right? Last week I mentioned the rebounder. I really would love everybody in the world to have a rebounder, one of those little trampolines, and be doing that. At least let's you could start with 5 minutes a day. You could start with 2 minutes a day. I don't care. 1 minute a day. I don't care. Anything I tell you, if you do at least, start with little baby steps, 1 minute a day, you will find, because you're starting to feel so much better, that you increase it, as you go along. So I mentioned the rebounder, and that's something that I think is really important. We want to increase the oxygen in our bodies. And I also spoke to you last week about the chi machine, which is a machine that's really easy to use. You lie down and it swings your body. And that's a really easy way to oxygenate your body. So in 5 minutes, I summarized everything I want you to do, pretty much. But a couple things that I didn't mention yet were, if you are going to be eating animal food, Moshe and I are both vegans, but if you don't want to go that route, at least any animal food that you eat should please, please, please be organic if possible, okay? Strive for it, because they do put a lot of chemicals and antibiotics, and the way they treat the animals is, it's really best if you can really afford. Please, please, please try to start your animal food. Try to increase using only organic animal food if you are going that route. If you do want to lean more towards veganism, then you can do that slowly. So we spoke about eliminating whites, the white sugar, the white flour, the white rice, the white pasta. Bye bye, out we go. So that's really important. Okay, a lot of people today are gluten-free. I make this really cool, and as everybody here knows, probably I'm in a 12-step program for compulsive eating. And I haven't really, eaten, any kind of bread and challah and stuff like that for years and years and years. I started on April 18th of 1999. So I make for myself this really cool gluten-free oat. It almost comes out like an oat matzah. And some of my friends who have been to my house for Shabbat have had it. And it's so easy to make it. And it's so much cheaper. They sell this like gluten-free oat matzah. I don't know if some of you have bought that, but it's almost like, I think it's like $8 a box or something like that for a little 10-ounce box. So it's essentially almost $1 for a matzah. And I make this delicious, delicious oat gluten-free cracker / whatever you want to use it for. You can wash on it, because I did check with a rabbi. You can wash for bread on it. And now they sell at Costco, and I'm just so amazed at Costco because, wow, they came out with this organic sprouted rolled oats bag, and comes, I think it's about 5 pounds or 3 pounds, I don't know, something like that. So I use that. I can't tell you an exact recipe. I meant to write it down this week, but I'm this kind of cook, throw this, I throw this, I throw this, I throw this, and then my friends say, how did you make that? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember. I just throw, But it's mostly oats, because my rabbi said it has to be at least 50% of the, oats, the grain that you can wash on, which would be oat, wheat, barley, spelt, or rye. And I prefer oats, and that's gluten-free. Some of the other grains are not gluten-free that you can wash on. I don't think any of the other ones are, actually. So I put in at least 50% oats. Actually, it's probably more like 60%. Then I throw in also organic gluten-free oat bran, like maybe, a part of it. And then I throw in some flax. I grind up my own flax, because I don't like to use anything that's ground already, because it could be rancid. So I take some flax, maybe like a half a cup, and I grind it up, and I throw that in. And that also helps to keep it together. And I grind it really finely. And then I put some of our Himalayan salt in there. And then I throw in a bunch of spices. Yum, yum, yum. So, some people like it sweet, so they throw in some kind of sweetener, whatever you're allowed. I'm not really allowed most sweeteners, so I don't use them. But I love throwing in, I use dillweed, the spice, not the seed, but, the ground up dill. I throw dill in there. I throw in garlic powder, onion powder. That's mostly what I use. Moshe likes Italian spices, but I don't like that so much in bread, so I don't throw that in. But this is, my friends, and of course there's water. You can't use juice or anything like that, because then you can't wash on it. But I throw in water, and I let it sit for a while, and then I just spread it thinly. And you can either make it into muffins. I've made it into muffins, but we kind of like it really flat. I'll show you some when Moshe comes back, and I'll get him to bring over some. But it comes out like a cracker. I bake it on a low temperature, like I think around 250 for quite a while. I can't tell you how long, because again, I don't know how long, but it comes out so yum, and it's gluten-free, and it's really inexpensive, and it is still, I mean, everybody who eats it thinks it's really, really yum. So I really recommend that. Now, something that really blew my mind. Last week I spoke to you a bit about immunity, the past couple weeks, obviously, with all this pandemic going around. And something that absolutely blew my mind this week, because I'm always investigating things, a friend of mine gave me this book. Now this, a lot of you probably even have this book, because it's a really old book. It's called Prescriptions for Nutritional Healing. And it's a really old book. And I was kind of blown away, because when I looked at the copyright for this book, it's 1933. Do you believe this? 1933. And I looked up immunity here, and I want you to know that the prescription for immunity in this book, if everybody was doing this, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm no doctor. And I'm no scientist, but I think that there would be tons more healthy people, and a lot of people would be immune to this this virus that's going around, because we are such a challenged people, you know, today. Why? I always say, you know, we're in a flood. What's the flood? We're in a flood of acid, right? We're in the flood of acid. The air is acidic, the water is acidic, you know, the earth is acidic. So our acid-alkaline balance in the blood is way off. So we do have to supplement. And in this book, which I'm just like, I can't tell you, I was just like blown away. In this book, he's saying everything that everybody's telling you now to do to strengthen your immune system, to be on guard for the pandemic, for the COVID virus. And I've been doing, since I found out about the virus, which was in March, I've been doing most of these things. But I didn't know about every single thing. But I'm so happy that I got this book. But I'm just going to read to you a little bit of what he suggests, and you can, you know, jot it down, or you can watch this YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube if you don't get to write everything down. But I'll just first of all read off, you know, what the essential nutrients are, which of course most of you know. Vitamin A, of course. Vitamin C, of course. Vitamin E. Kelp. And then he goes through a whole list. Now, a lot of these things I've been talking to you a lot about. Acidophilus, so that's the probiotics, right? And of course, we do recommend the ones that are in the refrigerator. Coenzyme Q10, garlic, Kyolic. Garlic, you know, the brand that he recommends is Kyolic. Germanium, kelp, he said. Now, these are amino acids. So the amino acids, I have a formula that I order, that I take. This L-cysteine, the L-methionine, L-lysine, L-ornithine, the B vitamins. Okay, of course, you want to take a B complex, of course. A multivitamin. Now, I told you, you need to be taking at least minimum a good multivitamin that has a mineral complex with it. Now, it's interesting. He says here proteolytic enzymes, and I've been talking to you about that, and that's one of the things that they definitely emphasize so strongly now as something that you need to be taking every day as a preventative of arthritis. Right? And so you really want to be taking those I have a very good brand that I can tell you about. And then, of course, there's some selenium, of course, is a very important one. SOD, which is superoxide dismutase. which improves oxygen in the tissues. Remember, we were talking a lot about oxygen last week. That's why I love the rebounder and the chi machine, because that also increases the oxygen in the body. So important for your immunity. You must have a lot of oxygen. That's why we need to do the exercise, and we need to do the jumping, and we need to do the chi machine. So please, you want to increase your oxygen. Vitamin A, he says 15,000, beta carotene 10,000, vitamin B 100 milligrams, vitamin C 3,000 to 10,000 a day, daily divided up. So I use the time release vitamin C because that's really easy. So I take at least 5,000 a day of that. Again, I'm not a doctor. Please check with your doctor. Anything I'm telling you, you must check with your doctor. Make sure that you're okay to do these things, and I always emphasize I'm not a doctor. Please, please, please. Zinc and copper, and vitamin D. Of course. Vitamin D is one of the main things, and most people that I know at this point, from the people I've been speaking to, recommend at least 10,000 units of vitamin D a day to protect your immune system in terms of COVID. So I know these things sound like a lot. Again, check with your doctor, please. But, and next week I'm going to talk about emotions and vitamins, because I took a course with Dr. Miriam Adahan, who's a psychologist, a very esteemed psychologist. She has a doctorate actually in psychology. And she works a lot with nutrition and depression. So I want to talk about that next week. I took a class with her on nutrition and depression and anxiety. And she has a very beautiful list of things that she emphasizes in terms of that. So the other thing I just wanted to mention, a friend of mine was talking to me today about the virus, and she mentioned tea tree oil. And again, I think next week I'll address depression and anxiety and nutrition and the essential, the essential oils. And Moshe, I told them that I would show them my crackers. So I think there are some over there. And, I also make them into little muffins, but they are really yummy. And try them. Next time I make them, I'm going to really try to write things down for you guys. It's not my forte. I'm a thrower. I don't know. But anyway, these got a little bit well done, but Sheva Fredel, the Miracle Madel, was here for Shabbat, and were they too overdone? I don't know. You can unmute yourself. Were they yummy? We'll get a little testimony here. I know she's a fan of my oat crackers, and I do make them into muffins. If you make them into muffins, they're chewy. They're not like hard to, these are really crunchy if you like crunch. And you can make it into a little matzah, looks almost like Pesach here. The round matzahs, but you can make them however you like. But this is a very inexpensive way to get rid of the gluten. Gluten is really a very big problem for many people, and many people suffering from depression also tell me they feel much better when they get off of gluten emotionally. So those are some of my tips for today. I am going to just close the recording, and we can open up for questions and comments from the group here. Let me see if I can make it so that you can unmute yourselves. Okay, so